catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
What is a legacy? It's something you leave behind. It's your accomplishments that you'll always be remembered for. It's where you leave your mark. It's what you had to fight for. It's where you had to make a name for yourself. It's the blood, the sweat, the tears, your body, your mind.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Storytime. I am your host, Crystal Bodie Smith, also known as Shout Crystal. I am so excited to be here today. I want to say thank you for your patience. We know that we did postpone the starting of the show to get some things together, but this is what happens when you are doing an international show. So I'm so excited. I have guests that are coming in from Ghana. And I think right now it's almost 6:00 p.m. over there. So it's a time difference. And, you know, as a traveler, I know it's definitely an adjustment, you know. So we are so grateful that we were able to coordinate this show for you. As you all know, it is Black History Month. And I am excited to have a family here that we all know, the Kambon family, and to introduce to you a family that is living Marcus Garvey's vision. Okay? Dr. Kamau Kambon, the late Dr. Kamau Kambon, and his daughter, Nataki, his wife, Dr. Mwanda, and Abimfu. I just want to commend you. I want to commend you for doing what you're doing to continue the legacy of Dr. Kambon. Let me tell you a little bit for those who have never met Dr. Kambon and why he means so much to me. Because you see, while I worked at St. Augustine's University, which was St. Augustine's College back then, we were in the same division. I was the assistant to the division chair in the Division of Education, and Dr. Kambon was one of the instructors. Dr. Kamau Kambon, the patriarch of this family, was an esteemed educator, a leader, and author of 17 books, including The Black Guerrilla Warfare in America and the Last Black Man Standing, Living Up to His Name, Quiet Warrior. He championed the essence of Black fatherhood to help families de-whitenize and firmly root in their identity and purpose. He has empowered thousands over decades and continues his advocacy, you know. And his wife, Dr. Maria Kambon, she's the matriarch also, and a traditional healer and psychologist who founded anipa.com, and she has over 25 years of running I think it's called Sen, and they're going to correct me on this, okay? I'm going to say Sankofa Journey, but I know they're going to correct me. It's a trip to Ghana, West Africa that's taking place, and she's going to tell you about this. And she asserts the African spirituality and psychology that fosters healing from historical traumas, okay? To say the least. She helped people that can manifest Garvey's vision through daily mental health exercises that decolonize the mind, the body, and the spirit, and reconnect you to your African self. Okay, then there's the son, Abimfu. Okay, he has garnered worldwide attention and attracted droves to Ghana as he leverages online and offline tools to manifest Black liberation in the present. All right, and he has a company that I'm going to let him explain definitely too. And he's doing a lot of things to create comprehensive things out there for citizenship, life, and business in Ghana. He and his wife, Kala, who's also going to be with us today, you'll get to meet her too. They have created a roadmap and they are living it out and reconnecting people in real time that you're going to see. And then there's the daughter, Nataki Kambon. She stands on a pillar in the business community as a business investment and growth consultant, and she builds businesses globally to reach the milestone, and she's helping to market her family. So I want to welcome all our guests here today and say hello all the way from Ghana. Please give them a round of applause and let's bring our attention to the screen. Let's start off first with the, the one and only Dr. Rwanda. I would love to hear from you. Welcome, 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 everybody. And I am so excited to be here with you today. Dr. Maria, how you doing today?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. I'm fantastic. I am blacktastic.
Oh, I like that. Black tap. You know what? Y'all always, Dr. Kambon, let me tell you something. When I used to go to work at St. Aug, we would have some great conversations. He would always keep me enlightened. And so, Mrs. Kambon, I just appreciate you for being here today. And I appreciate all the work. We are still continuing to send your prayers. We're still admiring the work that y'all are doing. I want to commend y'all because y'all are really, really doing the work to keep Dr. Cameron relevant. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times when people do work, when people are building businesses and they're doing all this work and then they pass on, a lot of times their family doesn't pick up that torch and keep it going. And I see you guys. I see you guys doing the work. So I want to say applause to you all for doing the work to keep it going. All right. So Dr. Maria, we thank you. How about you, sir? How you doing this day? Y'all got to work with me with these names now because, I might mess up here and there. Lord, just forgive me. Charge it to my heart, okay? And my head, not my heart, because I might mess up. I'm just going to tell you, I don't say a lot of African names all the time, so I have to keep it real, and I'm going to be my authentic self. So I might even ask you for a nickname so I don't keep messing your name up and chopping it up today. But, sir, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. The Albinfo is actually a title. It translates to professor, as I'm a professor of African Studies at the University of Ghana. I'm doing Black Powerful. I'm doing Blacknificent. I'm doing Spectacular, Blacktastic, Blackerific, and all of the above. So thank you for having us so that we can continue to let the world know about the Blacknificent legacy of Nana Kamau Kambon.
So,
Wow.
Crystal, his name is Obadele. So it's Obemfo, the title, as you say, but the name is Obadele Kamba.
Okay. Pray for me, y'all. Pray for me to make sure I get this and say this right. Next, okay. So next, I want to go to the daughter, Nataki, who helped us to make this possible. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I really appreciate you reaching out to us and wanting to share Baba Kamal's life, legacy, and story with others. And so, glad to be here.
Excellent. And of course, I want to acknowledge the wife, Miss. I want to say it right, Carla. Did I do that right,
That's
Carla?
correct. You did it
Oh, I got
correct.
one right.
You
One
got
out of
it.
four. I got that one
Congratulations.
right. Yeah, I did it right.
All
Yes.
right.
Okay. How you doing? Next to every
I'm
strong man
doing
is always a woman,
that's
and
right.
you are that.
Um, definitely. I'm doing good. Thank you for having us on your show. We're very grateful for this opportunity to share Baba Kamal's legacy with everyone on here today. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love it. I love the black powerful, blacknificent, and all those terms. And I'm seeing people coming in from different places. So thank you all. Please continue to put the stuff in the comments and we will let the family know you're here. Now, before we get started, I believe we can go to definitely, I want the people who didn't really know from Dr. Kambon himself what he was aiming to do. I have a clip that I like to play for a moment just to let you hear from the man himself. why he did what he did, and then we'll go on to the family and we will get this thing started. So hang tight one moment for this.
What I have done is, and what I'm suggesting is that we set up a plan of action for our lives. I have looked at how we as Black people behave, and I said that I would look at us in various domains or various dimensions. That I said that we have these different selves, selves. We have a psychological self, a cultural self, an economic self, an education self, a health self, a spiritual self, a social self, and a political self. And it is our responsibility, once we come into consciousness, is to try to organize all of our different selves and put them in proper alignment with the idea of sustainability, first survival, and then sustainability. That we have to adopt a different type of mentality, not a linear, never-ending, gobble up all the resources, but cultivate and develop an understanding that we have to loop our resources, use the resources as much as we can at the minimum level, and then recycle or loop the resources or the waste and see if we can use whatever is left again and loop our resources around. I like the term that I came up with, which is term, TERM, and that represents time, energy, resources, and money. And I've added an S to this term, and the S stands for either saving or it could stand for squandering. So if we understand that we have to operate on this planet, in this realm, at this time, in our own terms, meaning using our time, using our energy wisely, using our resources wisely, and also using our money very wisely. And I decided years ago that I would not finance or give my resources to people who were actually my enemy. And therefore, I changed and developed this idea of the different selves. So for over 40 years, what I have personally done is that I try to give my resources to people that look like me, to Black people.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So, Dr. Maria, how many years were you and the late Dr. Kambon married and together?
48, a little over 48 years.
Tell us a little bit how it was being with this powerful man. And first of all, how did you meet? Let me ask you that question. How did you meet Dr. Kambon?
We met in graduate school. I was going for my master's. He was going for his doctorate at Teachers College, Columbia University in New York City. And he was a very special, very quiet, very reserved man at that time. Um, I was moving into a lot of different things, but that's how we met. We met at the university, and it could have been love at first sight. I don't necessarily believe in that, but I admired how he carried himself. He was a strong Black man from the beginning, and that really attracted me.
Wow. Out of all those years, what stood out the most with Dr. Kambon with you when you think back to his legacy and everything that y'all have done together? What stands out the most?
That he was always committed to whatever it is he set his mind to do. And that was truly liberation for Black people. His love for Black people, even though they may not have always come forth in the way they should, but his goal was to help liberate Black people. And with that, he brought us, his family, along. He was committed to his family, understanding the truth of what was going on in the world, truth what was going on in the country, and committed himself to not only doing that for us, his family, but for a larger family of students. As you know, Crystal, there at St. Aug, there were many young people who would come to our bookstore. People may not know that we opened Blacknificent Bookstore in the Baynou Cultural Center because he had a vision that the education that our people needed there in Raleigh, North Carolina was absent. And
Right.
unless there was a place established for them to come to and learn, that the ignorance, and that's not meant in a pejorative way, the ignorance would continue. So we opened Blacknificent Books in the Baynou Cultural Center. And those kinds of things were the things that stood out. As he lectured around the country, as he moved from place to place, he was the same person committed with his seriousness, and the kinds of work he did was consistent, never wavering. So he would never joked about it. He never played around. He never stepped aside from it. He was always committed to the work of Black liberation.
Wow. And he was well known for that and well respected for it to this day. And guess what? He was even respected on the basketball court because I understand he had a mean game on that basketball court too. So he was loved and respected, and we still do appreciate him for wanting to educate people and inspire them to read more. And let me ask you on that note, do you guys still have any books available via the internet? Are you doing anything in that area to make sure that people still get that knowledge through reading?
I
Right,
think
and
that's a great
I'm gonna
question.
let
But before you,
Obempo
okay,
speak to that, but I want to talk first about we have a documentary
Okay.
about him that's on bb2me.com, which is a platform that Obemfo has established. And we want to direct you to that, bb2me.com, and we'll give you more information too about the legacy. It's a bb2me.com/QW, which stands for Quiet Warrior, which is also the name of that video. So yes,
Okay. Well, we
we
definitely will
I'm
put that
gonna
so
let
people can definitely
Obemfo,
see that.
yeah, I'm gonna let
and
Obemfo talk about Blacknificent, that we have reestablished, or mainly he has done most of the work of reestablishing Blacknificent as a publishing company, and talk about the books that are available. If you would do that now, Obemfo.
yeah, wait, before that, I did want to mention, I guess, connecting the documentary, even you mentioned about his basketball career. He, he, as he, went around the country doing public speaking, and even as brothers and sisters from the community came in and sat in Blacknificent Books. I'm the business one in the family. So my job is to make sure, cash is rolling in and the sales are happening. But there were so many people who would come into Blacknificent Books, and while some were buying books, others just wanted to literally sit at his feet. And so there was a chair that I used to be like, no, take that chair away, because people don't buy books. They just come in and want to sit and talk. But he would sit and talk, and he would often use basketball analogies to talk about, and he talked about the parallels between how you play offense and defense, and in basketball, and how that applied to life, and how that applied to strategies that we need to do as a people. And in the documentary, he talks a lot about, how basketball influenced his life. So I just wanted to share that before passing it to Obemfo to talk about, some of the other things. But yeah, maybe both the documentary and also how people access some of the things that he talked about in the
Great.
books.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And back to your mom and continue with what you were saying, please, ma'am.
Well, I wanted Obemfo Obadile to talk about the publishing company, Blacknificent Books. As you know, that was the name of our bookstore in
Yes.
Raleigh, but he has a whole lot more to talk about than that. But I think that when you ask, is there a way for people to access his books? They're on his site, bbtumi.com, and more books will be coming through blacknificent.com, I think is the publishing company, Obenfo.
Correct. So, matter of fact, if I can share my screen, I hope that's okay, and I can actually show people in real time as I do so.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm
And
going to go
Crystal,
ahead.
while he's doing that, I think you remember these children from when they were 5
Oh
years
my
old.
goodness. I said that to Nataki when she came up. I was like, look at you. Look at you. Like, oh my goodness. I mean, I talked about her hair and how long it is. I didn't have locks then. And I asked her how long she had hers. And I was admiring her. And my goodness, I do. And I don't want to feel like I'm getting old, but I just feel blessed to be able to have this moment with you guys, because y'all don't understand coming through that corridor door in the Boyer building with Dr. Kambon. We used to have a good old time. So I'm feeling the love right now the same way. So I thank y'all for this, because this is really good. So yes, share the screen, looking like your dad over there. And I'm just proud of you for holding these women down like you're doing, and doing just like I know he would have you to do, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right. So for those who are interested in his books and other resources, you can come here to Obinfo. Again, that's Professor Kamau Kambon ebooks and resources. And when you click through, you'll see that there's actually quite a bit here from his, books that we have available as PDF downloads, other videos. We have some classic videos from 1998 as WAUG. Other talks that we did online together, other talks that he did online, the cows and so forth. So you have all of these pages, and all of his books that are available are there. There are other books that he started writing but he had not published yet, and we're going to make those available through Blacknificent. And when you see this is a certificate of incorporation, Blacknificent Books Limited here in Ghana. And this is what we're going to relaunch as a publishing house. So I have a book that I'm going to publish under this publishing label, Blacknificent Books, and that's in cooperation with African World Books brother Nati out of Baltimore. As we have Blacknificent, he always spoke very highly of brother Nati. And when I proposed that to him, he said that he definitely sees it as his duty and obligation to publish that book. So we're working on that as well. Briefly, the documentary was mentioned, but I want to mention the statue. We actually had a statue unveiling at the second Abibi Tumi Conference on Black Power. And I'm just going to share a brief clip of that. This is out of a documentary that we did for the second Abibi Tumi Conference and Abibi Fahodia Festival. Abibi Tumi translates to Black Power, and Abibi Fahodia translates to Black Liberation. And we endearingly call him Nana Abibi Fahodie, which is the grandsister of Black liberation.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Wow.
So while that was happening, or during that time, that was so during last year, there were tributes to him from people in North Carolina and Atlanta and Chicago and New York. People were pulling together and doing all different kinds of just sessions and things in remembrance of him. And now this statue is in Ekwapim Mampong, that people who are, there's so many people who want to come to Ghana and who want to do what he and Nana Mawia and Obemfo have done in terms of repatriating and finding out how to make a life in Africa. And this is now at the Abibi Tumi headquarters. So again, Abibi Tumi means Black Power. And so there's now a Black Power headquarters in Ghana that has a statue in his likeness, and
Wow,
it's just
that is commendable. Like that is so commendable. Was this something that was in his vision to have a statue made for himself? Or this something that the family did after?
Oh, yeah. Um, Crystal, he was not one to be boastful. And in fact, he talked about the opposite of not having him in a limelight, let his work show what he's done. This is something that the family and his son in particular came up with that needed to be to show. We were not prepared for his leaving, even though you never know when the time will come. But we wanted to ensure that our children and grandchildren
Mm-hmm.
and all those that loved him would never forget. And so
Wow.
this statue was commissioned to ensure that he is here in these gardens to make sure that every day we have access to him. We do anyway in the spirit world, but we never want to forget. Not that we could. We would never want to forget.
Wow, this is so inspiring, man. Like you guys are the exemplifying exactly how it is supposed to be done when an individual in a family understands their purpose in life and they walking in their calling and they
Mhm.
carry things out and something happens and they leave the earthly realm. You guys are doing exactly what needs to be done. And I hope that other families that go back and watch this really understand what it's like to honor your loved one like this. This is amazing. Now, everybody, of course, won't deserve a statue. Everybody will not have had the accomplishments that Dr. Kamal Kambon did. But to go to this length, I am just so touched. And I know that he's smiling down on you guys. Now, I want to ask you, sir, I want to ask you, Obenfu, what was it like being the son of Dr. Kamau Kambon? I know he had expectations. I'm sure he was tough and stern. Tell us what it was like having him as a father because you're the son. We would like to hear from you. What was that like?
And before we leave that, can I say one thing, Crystal, about what you just said about the statue? Like,
Yeah.
I think um, the fact that Nana, Maria, and Obemfo made sure that statue was built is significant. But I do think most people would most people honor the people in their family who they've lost. I think it is also significant that he touched thousands of people around the world. I got dozens of calls, hundreds of calls from people who, I could barely cry and grieve because I was consoling people on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's significant that, I mean, we all lose people, but that statue is, yes, what it means a lot for us, but I think it means even more for the people who strove to be like him, who the brothers he impacted, the sisters who impacted, the sisters who he impacted, because every family celebrates the great people in their family, but Baba Kamal was larger than life to us, but he was also
Yeah.
larger than life to to thousands of people all over the world.
I agree. I agree. I do believe that he touched many. I was there for one of the celebrations that you had, and I saw the people chime in from all over. I heard some of the touching stories that people said, and it is a blessing. It is a blessing when you can be impactful. And it was genuine. He was authentic, and he had a genuine love for people. And I believe you're going to always be stopped. And you're still going to get more emails as you continue to have books, as you continue to have websites, as you continue to have statues. You're going to keep hearing stories over the years because he was that powerful and he was that influential.
Mhm. So you asked Bempo, and I think that's significant for both of them to talk a little bit about the father he was.
Yes, yes. I would love to hear her too as well.
Okay, so what I want to do, so as we have the Blacknificent Legacy, the Quiet Warrior documentary, this is a question that actually came up in the documentary itself. And I want to just share my screen. This is a comment that somebody posted who maybe just like a little over a week ago posted. He said, um, this was amazingly produced. The collection of Blacktastic experiences coupled with the firsthand words from his family provides a gold standard to live by. I am very inspired by this, as I hope my life's impact is worthy to be honored and memorialized in such a way. Abibitumi. So I want people to actually, I will definitely answer your question, but I just want people to see just a little bit of the production quality that went into it. And you see America with a lowercase a, as Baba Kamal would write it.
Most definitely. And I definitely do agree. I couldn't have said it better than what the person said in the comment about the family, setting a gold standard for sure. So let's take a look.
So as we look at the documentary, one of the main ideas that we had was, we're telling his story, but we're telling how he came to be a solutionary. A lot of people know him in line of, I always say that where it comes to Black people, our heroes are their enemies, their heroes are our enemies. And Baba Kamal was in a line of a lot of Black people who are definitely in company, in the sense that, at one point in time, definitely Baba Kamal was a Black man and a murderer. And that's the company to be in, because that was also Nana Nat Turner at one point in time. At one point in time, that was also Nana David Walker, for those who know that name. At one point in time, that was also Nana Malcolm X.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, brother. Your mic is cutting out. It's cutting out a lot, and we didn't hear anything you said. So I'm gonna ask you to speak closer to the mic while you re-narrate that and start from the top. Thank you.
No problem. So as I was saying, that for a lot of people, when they think of Baba Kamau Kambon, he was somebody who is definitely in esteemed company. And one thing that I always say is that our heroes are their enemies and their heroes are our enemies. So when it comes to Black people, anyone that we lift up, they don't like too much. So when it comes to Baba Kamau, that's esteemed company in the sense of, at one point in time, that was Nana Nat Turner, who was our hero, but they consider him to be public enemy number one. Where it comes to Nana David Walker, where it comes to Nana Marcus Garvey, at one point in time, he was the most hated Black man in the United States of a murderer. At one point in time, that's Baba Omoale, Malcolm X. But definitely when Baba Kamal put forth the solution, and he didn't say, oh, I'm a revolutionary. He said, I'm a solutionary because I want a solution to the number one problem on the planet Earth. So when we think of Baba Kamal, that's our hero. But, again, when they talk about their heroes, that is, they'll say Thomas Jefferson, that's a rapist. When they say, Christopher Columbus, that's a genocidal psychopathic maniac. So that's the ones who they lift up, but those are the enemies to Black people. So for us, when we put the statue of Nana Kamau Kambon, when we did the documentary for Nana Kamau Kambon, there are a lot of people in the quote unquote conscious community who, when they get old, they end up being, put in nursing homes. That's Nana Chancellor Williams, who wrote The Destruction of Black Civilization. Everybody who's conscious will, stand on the highest hilltop and say, yeah, I read Destruction of Black Civilization. But here you have a Black man who dedicated his entire life to Black people. But when he got older, he was just put into a nursing home and passed away. Similar thing with Nana Yosef Ben Yakin and Dr. Ben. A lot of us will talk about, oh, I read his book, so I went to Kemet with him and so forth. But then also when he got to old age, he was put into a nursing home. And a lot of, I can go down a list. I can actually go down a list of no less than, a few dozen. But, what we thought was, one, we wanted Nana Kamau Kambon to come here to the continent and be with his children, to be with his grandchildren, And, we are the ones who are going to take up the mantle. We're the ones who are going to take care of him as he gets to, 80 years of age. We just looked at a video when he was talking about, I thank my family, I just turned 80. That's what we wanted for him. And then also we wanted to memorialize him in such a way that his name will exist forever. And, that's, a couple of ways that we've done that. One is through Quiet Warrior as a documentary. Another one is, the second Abibi Tumi conference on Black Power that we held last September. The entire conference was, dedicated to his memory. He was the very first keynote speaker of the first day of the very first Abibi Tumi conference on Black Power. So the entire second conference was, dedicated to him. And we organized the speakers, using the Kanban dam. So my mother was there. We also had Nana Anthony Browder, Nana Baina Bello, Nana James Small. When I say Nana, I'm using a term of respect for elders that's used often in Ghana. We just had so many luminaries, so many speakers who were there, both in person and then also online. So we did it as a hybrid conference. We launched the documentary there. And, for those, I showed just a clip of the statue unveiling. For those who are interested, you can definitely check out, that statue unveiling. You can see, all that happened. It's about the entire documentary is about an hour and a half. So I definitely encourage your, viewers, your listeners to check that out. And then, as mentioned, another way that we are carrying forth his work is through Blacknificent as a publishing house. And, he published the last book and so forth and so on under that as the publishing house. When you look on the inside front cover, it says Blacknificent Books and more. And we wanted to make sure that name Blacknificent, that's an idea that he came up with, because the idea was, in the English language, anytime you hear the word black is usually associated with something negative. So let's say, black cat cross your path, or the market crash, that's a Black Friday, or the villain wears black. But he said, we are going to create a word that speaks to the idea that we are more than magnificent. We are Blacknificent. And I remember at the Benu Cultural Center, we had all these words that we would come up with all the time, just like how I started off my introduction, that we would say, Blacktastic, Black Powerful, Blacktacular, Blackerific, Blackcellent, and so forth and so on. And these are, just basically ideas that came from his original idea. Now I see people who have, T-shirts that say, Blacknificent, Blacknificent. And, that's one thing that he wanted to, get out there in the community, the idea that whenever we say Black, we're talking about something that is Black powerful. We're talking about something that's Blackerific. And what I want to do is read his original definition of Blacknificent, because I've seen people, they have T-shirts and it says Blacknificent and it says something like dripping with melanin or something. Blacknificent, I'll give you his definition of Blacknificent. He has it as an adjective, a descriptive only of the race of original, indigenous, melanated Black Africans on their continent, in the diaspora, and their direct descendants, which identifies and describes their immeasurable high achievements in every aspect of human endeavor, medicine, science, literature, mathematics, family development, government, cultural, education, spiritual development, etc., that were beyond the scope, breadth, and depth of the concept of magnificent, whereby these accomplishments are well beyond all realms of human imagination, calculation, and or comprehension. So that's what Blacknificent is. It's not, dripping in chocolatey goodness or whatever else you'll see out there, because, you have to read Baba Kamal's books, and he has quite a few. Again, when you go to abibitumi.com, I'll spell that ABIBITUMI. That's Black Power. I'll spell it again slow. ABIBITUMI.com. And then it's /shop, right? When you go there, you'll see his category for ebooks, for resources. And that's where you get the actual definition of Blacknificent. You don't have to come up with one. dripping in chocolatey goodness and melanated, whatever. No, that's not what it is. It's saying that we are more than magnificent. We are blacknificent. And that is, one of the ideas. Baba Kamal would always say that, you can kill a person, but you can't kill an idea. And, he would talk about, he has an article where he would talk about, racial profiling, the rise of the Black Messiah, and so forth. And he talks about something that he talked about in his speech that he gave on C-SPAN, where, why are they trying to do retina scans? Why are they trying to do fingerprints? Because just like was mentioned in these COINTELPRO papers, that, they're scared of they want to prevent the rise of a Black Messiah. But one thing Baba Kamal said is the Black Messiah isn't a person, it's an idea. And that is the idea that he was able to speak live, on person on a worldwide stage, where he said that the idea is that we have to come up with a solution to the number one problem on the planet Earth. And he was able to define quite directly what that number one problem is on the planet Earth. So when we think about him, we want to think about the idea. I was thinking in recent times, somebody was like, Marcus Garvey was the greatest person to ever live. That's subjective. Or, this person is the greatest. No, that person was the greatest we ever had in our race. I was like, all of those things are subjective. I'm fine with anyone saying any of those things. For me, the greatest person I've ever met is my father. But more so, the person who had the greatest idea in the history of the entire race of Black people is Baba Kamau Kambon. And with that, he came up with a solution to the number one problem on the planet Earth. Who is polluting the water? I have an expression that I say is that everything that Black people think is the number one problem on the planet Earth was created by the number one problem on the planet Earth. I'll come again. Everything that Black people think is the number one problem on the planet Earth was created by the number one problem on the planet Earth. Some people say, if we can just get past, this white Jesus, we'll be okay. All right, well, who created that? Oh, if we can just get rid of capitalism, then okay, well, who created that? If we can only get rid of, the drugs in the community, all right, well, who created those? If we can just get rid of the guns in the community, all right, who created those? If we can just get rid of the division that we have in the Black community, well, who created that division? Anything that you can name that you think is the number one problem on the planet Earth. And, that's an analogy of Nana Khalid Abdul Muhammad, where he gives an analogy of the spider web and the spider. What we do is we get caught up trying to tear down this spider web. Oh, if we can just get rid of that thing, teenage pregnancy. Oh, it's voting. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's socialism. No, it's whatever the problem that we think is the problem. All of those are spider webs. But the thing that set Nana Abibi Fahoudie again translates to Black liberation. That is the term of endearment that we've applied to Nana Kamau Kambon. Any of those things you think of were created by the spider web. So we have to stop dealing with all of these spider webs and then turn our attention to solving the number one problem on the planet Earth. And that's going to be through crushing that spider, starving that spider out of existence, no longer dealing with the money laundering that we do that, people say, oh, if we got reparations today, you're going to see everybody in a Mercedes-Benz. They just did money laundering. As Baba Kamal said, they just put the money in our hand and then we hand it right back to them, in the next minute. He came up with something that's not any of those spider webs. He came up with something that is directly addressing the number one problem. And that's how he came to be a solutionary. So anyone who is interested in his own story, his own retelling of how he came to be the solutionary that he was and still is, then you can look at the Quiet Warrior documentary, and that will give you from his own mouth, from his own words. And then with us also supplementing in the documentary, beautifully, blacktastically, blacknificently produced, you can get that understanding of how he came to be the solutionary and how you can also come to be a solutionary. Just like the brother said in his comment, he says he wishes that one day he can be remembered and memorialized in such a way as you see in this documentary. Well, if you want to know how he came to be the solutionary that he was and still is, then I would definitely tell you to go and watch that documentary. And it's going to be the most Black powerful hour change that you've ever seen in your entire life. So check it out. And I'll pause on that note.
Woo, my goodness. My. Dr. Maria, how proud are you of your children? Oh my goodness. And just I'm thinking to myself, now that's how you instill a foundation in your son to carry on the legacy. My goodness.
And I was going to say to that, you asked him about his father. You just heard his father
I
speaking
heard
to
it. I heard it. I saw it. Oh my goodness. Did I hear it? I relived it. It's him all over again.
Mhm.
It's him all over again. And I can only imagine the female version.
So, Nataki, why don't you share how Baba Kamal was to you as a father, and any other way you uh, care to share him?
You can unmute.
And we don't hardly see that sentimental soft side because she's such a businesswoman. She heard you say she guarded the gates at the store in Raleigh. She guarded the gates and said, "No, we got to take care of the business here." But yes, that's Daddy's little girl. I
Daddy's
know
little
that's
boy.
Daddy's little girl. And I saw just then when you asked her, I saw Daddy's little girl. So let us hear from Daddy's little girl. We know you had a strong, powerful daddy, and guess what? He has a strong, powerful daughter. He put all that in you, baby girl. So you take your time and you give it to us.
Yeah. It's interesting because when I grew up, I had some friends that had fathers in the home. I had other friends who didn't have fathers in the home. And, we do sleepovers or slumber parties and everything. And I'd watch other children with their fathers. And it was just curious to me because I was like, wow, their interactions aren't quite like my interactions. And of course, everybody's going to have unique experiences. But I did recognize that my father was different and special. Um, and I remember when the Cosby Show came out, and this is a testament to mom and dad. When the Cosby Show came out, there were a lot of children because of the impact of everything Openfo just said about, the number one problem on the planet, because all of these things impact, even if fathers can be in the home or want to be in the home, or if the women even want a man in the home, all these impact families. So when the Cosby Show came out, even though people can watch all kinds of mythical sci-fi creatures, they can watch people on other planets, they can watch a Star Trek or Star Wars and they're aliens talking. There were so many Black brains that short-circuited at a show like the Cosby Show, having a successful mother and father in the home who loved their children and raised them well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was inconceivable for people. They were like, that's not realistic. And I remember, being in elementary school and finding that just laughable. Like, how is that not realistic? But you're watching all these cartoons.
That's right.
He-Man and She-Ra, whatever propaganda. But that was the house I grew up in. I grew up in a house with a mother who was pursuing her PhD in psychology and now, continues to run ONIPA and does the Sankofa Journey, making sure that we're getting our right, so that if or when we decide to move or repatriate to Ghana or any other African country, we're not bringing the toxic colonized minds here that we get from living under these colonial systems. We're not bringing those with us and infecting the people who exist where we end up landing. And I grew up with a father who was a professor who you worked with of education at a historically Black university. So, I mean, he wasn't a medical doctor like the TV show, but he was a doctor of education who related to his family in ways that, yes, he was a quiet warrior, but he also, made corny jokes. Mm-hmm. He lunch and, he always tell the story mom was changing her diet at the time that they met, and he was a researcher who was like, okay, if he finds truth, he's going to pursue it and he's going to live it. And so she was still, I think, eating chicken and fish at the time. But when she told him about why, vegan plant-based diet was important, and he researched it, he was like, oh, I'm not going to eat any of that stuff anymore. And he went vegan before she did. As I heard the story, she was like, no, I'm not ready, because they were still eating chicken and fish. But, when I talked to him even about his dietary choices and all these kinds of things, what I remember the most is that who he is, was not shoved down my throat or anybody's throat. He just lived whoever he is. And he also encouraged people to do their own research. Mm-hmm. Like, don't eat the way I eat because I said this is the way you have to eat. Do your own research. And I remember him telling us, like, he did the experiment in some of his classes where they pour Coca-Cola on like pork or beef, and that people see the maggots come out. And he had us really like think critically. So growing up with a father who loves you, plays with you, challenges you to think critically. He was my biggest fan. Mm-hmm. He was incredibly supportive. Two of the hardest things that I ever had to go through while he was alive. One of the hardest things, I felt unsafe in my condo. And he came and stayed with me for like 2 or 3 months until I felt safe again. And, when we think about everything that this system does to rob Black children of having Black fathers in the home, I tell people all the time, like, I'm not going to tell my age, but I needed my father every day. And it's been incredibly difficult not having him.
Bless you, bless you, bless you. I'm a daddy's girl too. And I have to tell you, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I'm sending you love right now. I want to let you know that he was cherished by all his students like that. And he gave it to us just like that in the classroom. People remember Dr. Kambon's class. They didn't want to go to many classes, but trust me, they knew they were going to get something out of that. And you blessed us. And I understand when you come up in a house like that with that kind of a dynamic, it seems awkward when you hear other people. And it's so sad how some people think normal is in a family dynamic, So thank you so much for sharing your heart when it comes to your dad and when it comes to your family. And you keep doing what you're doing. You keep spreading the mess. You keep showing everybody what he put in you, because this is extraordinary. This is extraordinary. And I'm just so honored, man. I'm just so honored that you all are sharing this here with me today and with everybody in Raleigh today. And I want to do more. I want to do more, not just have y'all on this platform, but as much as I travel, I want to help bring people from Raleigh to go to this one in 2025. I need to check my calendar and make sure this doesn't conflict with some other trips I have coming up, but we're going to talk about that.
Clear your calendar. I know you said the students felt like that. I did want to say that, I was aware from his students who talked about he was voted like the #1 professor on the campus because so many, he complained or he lamented, and some of his students lamented that sometimes our HBCUs are conspirators in terms of not presenting the kind of information that we need. And he let people know the truth. And so he was so revered on the campus for many classes. And I still run into people who are like, oh, I had Dr. Kambon. Oh, he was the best. Or I didn't have Dr. Kambon. People snuck into his classes. I'm like, how big were these classrooms? So, he definitely had an impact on the campus.
He did. And I'm going to go to the help me of the son, because I know that you played a powerful part too. I want to know what it was like for you being married to his son, because I know you could feel that power too as well. I just want to say to everybody checking in, thank you. Share share this because this is powerful, and we are talking about the legacy of the late Kamau Kambon. So I want to go to Kala and hear from you, and hear how it's been at the the family member, extended family member, when you came into this family. What was that like? Because oh my goodness, I know you said I hit the jackpot when it comes to being involved in this family.
Yeah. I have to go back to what Nataki was saying about him as a father, because the love that both his he and Albemfo have had gotten from him is so clearly transferred over to our children. And so him as a father has definitely impacted um, Albemfo as a father. And having to have getting to see these cherished moments, because I didn't grow up with my father, so seeing the beauty of that relationship transferred from father to son, and now from son to all of the five children that we have. um, Seeing that relationship and knowing where it came from has been a beautiful and strengthening um, experience for them, but also for me being able to see them have that experience. So it's been, Baba Kamal has been to me the best example that I've ever had the honor to see of a great father, and a equally as wonderful grandfather. And as I mentioned, we have five children. We have Amma, who's 17, Kweku, who's 11, or he's about to be 12. We have Akosua, who's 9. We have Efia, who's 4, and then we have our girl Nanayao. And they had the honor of being able to be once Mama Mui and Baba Kamal moved to Ghana. Um, they had the chance to be with him for about 3 years and have the experience of having their grandfather around. And just like Nataki said, he had his seriousness and sternness, but he also was playing with them, holding the baby, and having wonderful times with them. He had uh, one thing everybody who knows Baba Kamal knows about is that he had this magic bag that he would carry around, and whenever we went on trips and somebody needed a snack or anything, he had this bag, and then he'll just pull out everything, anything that someone needed would be in that bag. So if the children were hungry and needed a snack, it was in there. Somebody's stomach was hurting, he had some sort of remedy for it in the bag. Somebody was thirsty, he had a bottle of water in the bag. So it was just they had these great experiences with him. And so his legacy is not just the memories that they got to have with him, but it's also the daily practices that we do with them that help them and us to remember who he is. So it's not just like a day or a moment, but every day we do things to remember him. Every day we pour libation, or regularly we pour libation, and his name is said in the presence of the children. They can walk outside and see the statue, and we also have posters, large posters with um, quotes from Baba Kamal, that every time they go outside to play and outside the house, they can see his huge images of him and the words of wisdom that he said, that impacted everyone else and is now impacting them on a regular basis. So, he is he he continues to be that strong presence for us, and his legacy continues through his grandchildren and everything that they're learning and doing.
And so, Crystal, I also want to go back to, as Abemfo talked about and Nataki a little about the documentary. What was shown on the screen is not that documentary; it's a part of another. So we do encourage people to go to the documentary. Again, it's a bb2me.com QW, so that you can really get a sense. That beginning part was part of the documentary, but we really do want people to go to a BB2Me and to purchase the documentary. This is it.
We are gathered here to honor the memory of Baba Kamau Kambon, the quiet warrior, a man whose life embodied the Akan proverb, life is war, family is an army. Baba Kambon was consistent, unwavering in his commitment to African people. He was assured of who he was, a pillar of strength and integrity. Family was at the core of everything he did, a testament to his belief in the unity and power of a strong, cohesive, familial bond. He went beyond merely professing his ideas. He lived them, teaching us that our beliefs must be in sync with our behavior. Baba Kambon knew that victory lies in the details and was always prepared, surrendering his will to the wisdom and guidance of his ancestors. In a world full of explanations of the problem, Baba Kambon chose to be a living demonstration of the solution. He taught us to let our beliefs be seen before they are heard, embodying the essence of true leadership. Today, as we remember Baba Kambon, we honor a man who will always remain our quiet warrior. His legacy will live on in our hearts and actions, guiding us to live with the same integrity and dedication he exemplified through his life and legacy. Rest in power, Baba Kamau Kambon.
The other thing is that there's only one nigger on the planet. I never use that word. This is the first time I've used it. I don't even think that word, but there's only one nigger on the planet. And the nigger that's on the planet is the one that is destroying the water.
Wow. Dr. Maria, I know that you have to be so ecstatic about how your children have just embodied all of this, and they took it all in, and they have joined you on this mission to keep the legacy going. How does that feel as a mother? Because a lot of times, sometimes our children don't join us, when we have things we're doing as a family, so how does that feel, and how important is that?
Mm-hmm. Crystal, that's very important. And I think Nataki mentioned too, we never tried to force them to be a certain kind of way. Our goal was to open up doors and so that they could see and hear. And we're proud that they chose the path that they did to do the work and to carry on the work. As you said, of course, Nataki's his baby girl, but Obemfo is his proud warrior. He would always talk about how I want to be like him when I grow up. So we would laugh about that sometimes, and as Kala talked, the love that she shared for him while he was here in Ghana with us. And we think that they've learned a lot from our union together too, because ours was a pure love. Yes. And I think that Black love needs to be presented and demonstrated. We were not a Cosby couple, he was serious, but he laughed too. And many people know that he joked a lot. And Obemfo does that all the time. I don't even know sometimes where he pulls those little quips from that he shares with us. And we're seeing it in the children. We're seeing it in the grandchildren too now, that the softness is there with the seriousness. But the seriousness is important. Until we reach the point where we see freedom for all Black people, we have to stay on a course of Black liberation. And so, yes, I am very proud, but I'm also proud of the many children out there in the community that were his children, that got to understand and see. Crystal, you came to the celebration because of your memories of those 15 years you sat
Yes.
next to him in his
Yes.
office. And there are many who have done that too. It was so there were over 300 people that came to the celebration online, let alone the people who came here in person, because they know that this was not just a funeral. This was a celebration of a man who deserved to be honored in the best way that humans could. And we know that he is there with us. He's still here with us, and that he's doing the work in the spirit realm. Because I told Obenfo and the family the other day, when some things are in the works in the world, and I said, that's Baba Kamal pulling the troops together, saying that we must move forward. We can no longer continue to repeat the mistakes that have gone before. We must have learned from those so that we can move forward to the solution, which is right in front of us. And that's why I'm proud of my family.
Yes, and I'm so proud of you guys. And I know that with everything that he did to teach individuals about their 8 selves, with all those that we showed at the beginning, and about the terms that he came up with, the time, the energy, and the resources, money, and savings and squandering. I mean, he just had a way of breaking things down and, analyzing things. And like your daughter said, making you do some critical thinking. He had a way of making you do that for sure. And so let me ask you this. Can we talk about for a moment the trip coming up this year? If there's anybody here that wants to get the details so that they can be a part of it, how they can get tickets and the accommodations and what do people need to do, if there's deadlines, who is the person that can give us that information?
Well, Obenfo and I have been doing this Sankofa Journey since 1998 when I first brought him to Ghana. And so the name of the experience is not a trip, it's not a tour, is Sankofa Journey. And that translates to Sankofa, means to go back and fetch it. That's a literal translation. And the goal was that our people need to understand what we had in the past to be able to know what to do now that was going to have the impact on our future. So it is December, give the dates now. December 14th.
So the
pull
conference
up
is
or
the
show on
12th
the
to the
screen the
14th.
sankofajourney.com. Oh, sorry. The
Sankofa-
sankofajourney.com, or I can
Sankofajourney.com. Sankofajourney.com. SAN.
I'll pull it up on the screen. Okay.
Okay,
And
I can still spell it. SANKOFA Journey. That's one word. .com. And it's right now you can register for it. What we do is we bring people from the snakes to Ghana, and we're planning on having a special experience this year. This is the also the bb2me.com is where the conference is, and the conference is part of the journey. So you come in for 2 days, you have 3 days of the conference, and then we continue the journey until you leave off. We will have another meeting to share, orientation kind of meeting to share, but you can right now go to sankofajourney.com and check in. It begins December 9th, and I think our end date is wrong. It should be the 23rd. And that you can register now. We also have, for people who may not be able to put the full amount down, we have a payment plan. The payment for the journey must be by June 15th, and that the everything is all inclusive. Your plane fare, your ground transportation, your accommodations here, and the experience that you have. As I said, the conference is a part of that experience. People who have gone, we've had people with mixed experience. Most have been very, very positive. People really talk about how they never knew the depth of the power within this country. But we'll say it's not only this country, it's the continent. We're given a false view of what it is to be African that we call Kemetiu, because Kemetiu is one of the original names of Black people. Africa was not one that we chose ourselves. So that'll be a lesson on the journey. But we want people to come with open minds, to leave their colonized and enslaved spirits behind, to be able to reclaim the legacy that is theirs, that is still a part of them. It's not dead,
Right.
it's just been suppressed. And our goal on this journey is to make it live again.
Wow. So y'all mark your calendars, mark your calendars.
Yes.
I'm marking mine.
Right.
Down.
SankofaJourney.com, December 9th. Deadline is June 15th for payment. When you sign up, you'll get a notification immediately. You get information about how to do your visas.
Wait, if I can speak to that, Nana Maria, because one of the things that happens so often is, we know sometimes our people like to wait till the last minute to do things. So I don't want people to focus on the June deadline. As soon as possible, if you can go, if you want to attend the journey, if you want to attend in December, you can and should pay your deposits, because way before the deadline in June, there are activities that you can participate in. There's information that you get. There's a series of emails and packets. And one of the things that happens, people are like, oh, okay, well, let me research traveling to Ghana and what do I need? Do I need visas and shots and all that? All of that is done for you. All you need to know or do to go on the journey is, one, are these dates that I can go on? And two, do I have a passport? Right. Everything else is figured out for you, because what some people do is they research things, and sometimes they research the wrong things and get the wrong information, and then they miss out. We had one sister who missed it one year because she did her own research and got the wrong thing. We got another sister who bought the wrong ticket and ended up having to meet the journey in she was like 2 days behind. So she came again a second year because she was like, I need to go to the part that I missed the first year. So everything you need, you'll be paired with a journey person who will help you get everything else together. So once you pay that, that's where you get all the information.
All right. And make sure you get with me so I can help you any way I can on this in question, because a lot of people don't factor this in. If it starts on the 9th, how long is the flight over there? Because they may have to leave on the 8th, right? To get there.
Well, the way we do it, the 9th is your journey from the States. So,
okay.
And, so that's included. It leaves out of JFK. So if like we have a sister that comes from Arizona, she comes the day before, so that she doesn't have any problems with airlines, So it depends on the airline, but it's only a 10.5-hour ride. It's not
10.5-hour flight. Okay, so
right.
you have that factored in. And I didn't hear you say a price.
That's direct. So that
you can go to the website and the prices are there, because there are two different ways. Some people, if you can pay outright, that's that. If you want to, I think there's a cheaper price if you pay, or there's a discount rather, if you pay with a bank transfer or a check by phone, and versus if you pay with a credit card. And I can give the phone number if people are interested in more information about anything we said. You can send a text message with your name, phone number, and email address to 919. Wait, let me say the number right. It's 919-729-6509, and text your name, phone number, and email address, and Sankofa Journey if you want to go on the Sankofa Journey, which includes the BB2Me conference, or you can text your name, email address, and phone number to that same number and put a BB2Me conference if you're interested in being a speaker at the conference, a vendor at the conference, or attending it, whether you're attending, we talked about it being in Ghana, but there were hundreds of people who attended online as well, because there is a very powerful online version that is moderated by our Quadro from Abibi Toomey, who's just, the technical guru at Abibi Toomey, who works with Obenfo to help make sure that people are having just as powerful of an online experience, to coincide with the people having the experience in Ghana on the ground.
Okay. So my next question would be, are you guys coming back here anytime soon to Raleigh? Will there be any kind of in-person interaction here at all?
Well, if you look at Obenfo, you can forget it.
I saw his face. So he's like, we don't have no desire to come back. Is that what you think, sir? Go ahead, speak your mind. I want to hear his face.
Well,
saying, y'all coming here.
When we repatriated, that was in 2008. And it was September 6th, the day after Baba Kamal's birthday. He was born September 5th. We repatriated September 6th. And my goal when I repatriated was to never set foot on United States soil ever again. And ever since I've been here in 2008, I've never set foot on United States soil again. So I've been to Kenya. I've been to what they call Egypt. I call it occupied Kemet. I've been to Ethiopia. I've been to Umzansi, what they call South Africa. I've been to Nigeria, to Togo, to Benin, to Cote d'Ivoire, you name it. I've been to all these places. Senegal, the Gambia, Burkina Faso, Mali. But I've never set foot on United States soil. So that was my goal. It's not like, I just didn't get around to it. No, I'm not planning on ever setting foot on United Snakes of a murderer soil ever again.
And keep in mind that includes U.S. embassies on other people's soil.
Right. He didn't even want to go to U.S. Embassy in Ghana.
So let me ask you this.
But let me say, I do come back because we still have our house there. Okay, and I've been doing, I do women's and family retreats there, spiritual retreats there. So that tends to be once a year.
Okay, so
I have to check on the property. Well, we have a lot coming in now that I hadn't planned on going here on the continent. So now it's usually in the spring. So we have to see based on these other things that have come into play, because I really would like for you to put it out there for people to be able to attend. It's a 3-day spiritual retreat at Baynou. Our house I have renamed Baynou after our cultural center.
Well, I definitely, Nataka, you have to give me Mom's number. If she has a U.S. number, please. If not, I can call your WhatsApp. But what was I going to say?
Or contact her through. One thing we didn't mention, all of this information, and one thing that Baba Kamal talked about is that there are all of these, so many people rely on European media and European social media to inform them about what they should think, even about themselves, even when they claim that they want to be woke or revolutionary. It's still being filtered through, a European mechanism or platform. So abibitoomey.com is Obenfo is the tech genius behind creating an all Black power social education network. So you can go there. There are groups, there are news feeds. You can interact with other like-minded people. So many people say they feel like they're the only ones who think a certain way or anything because they're floating in a sea of, some of these other really toxic social networks. But if you go to abibitoomey.com and register, you can either interact through a web browser or you can download the Android or an iPhone app and, get a lot of the information there. So you can actually, you can message, you can call, all of that, connect with Nana Mawia. There's a group that there's a group named after Baba Kamal. I posted even the video for this happening right now. I posted that in the group on Abibi Toomey. And then there's a group also for Nana Mawia because she also has a psychology practice and is doing counseling for couples, individuals, families, and children. And there's a group called Onipa.
Online.
Right there on the Abibi Toomey. But you could also go to onipa.com for people who are interested in really, connecting, because there's so much going on, and having someone to talk to who understands from an African-centered wellness perspective how to navigate this is super important. Whether you're planning on staying in the U.S. or traveling abroad, you need that first. Yes.
You don't have no other clients, right? Because I know you have enough to keep you busy with everything you have going with the family. I know you don't have no other. I know you said you have a practice and you're a business consultant, but I know you don't have no other clients, right? Is that correct? I'm making a joke. But
and we didn't talk about it. I see it under her name, but Baba Kamal. There's a video I have of Baba Kamal. I think it said something like age 70 plus doing push-ups, and he used to joke with me. I co-own a food service with my niece Amma, and I think I eat too much of our supply, but health was one of, I guess, under Black liberation, health was Baba Kamal's second favorite topic. And I don't know if Kala can come on. She didn't talk about what she does, but what she's doing is in terms of health and wellness, and with her her fast is very important, because we also, we're talking about decolonizing our mind and detoxing our minds. She's got some ways that we can detox physically.
Well, we need you to share, honey. You can't hold back. That's the alley-oop right there. Let's go. Let's go, Carla.
You can't hear you.
Okay. Oh, I don't know why. Can you hear
now
me
now? Now we can. Yes.
Okay. Earlier you said you thought I was one of the grandchildren.
That's a good.
I have to attribute that to the fact that I've been doing a lot towards my health. And of course, Baba Kamal was always talking about eating healthy, watching what we eat and those types of things. And that has impacted the family as well. So I have started water fasting, intermittent, and 21 days. So I have a book on that, and a group on a BB2Me called Slow Down and Fast, to help people heal from different illnesses. You'll be surprised how just water can heal you from issues like diabetes and high blood pressure and all these things that are affecting the Black community. One element, one natural element that we have in our homes can heal us from all of those things. So there is a book in the BB2Me store, in the BB2Me shop, that you can go to and download a copy of the book. And then we have a group on a BB2Me where you can get more information. And going back to a BB2Me in terms of all the things that we do, if you want to know about the Sankofa Journey, we do have a discussion coming up to give more information. That's going to be on a BB2Me coming up in a couple of weeks. The Taki's business consulting is on there. The restaurant in Quadria for healthy foods as well is also on the BB2Me as a group. We have Mama Maria on the group. Benfo has his own group. So all of these things, there's a lot going on there. We encourage people to sign up. It's free to sign up. And then we also have tiers of membership where you get.
I think I just lost your sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carla, we lost your sound.
But that's okay, guys. We're coming in and we are presenting this show. We are in the US, but they are in Ghana. So I thank you so much for tuning in. I mean, so if you hear the sound go in and out, bear with us, because it's international, it's global, y'all. So, but
let me also say they both left out one thing that I think is
can you hear me now?
Yeah. I was saying one of the things that is also important that Obemfo didn't mention in his talking about not going back, he's encouraging people to repatriate. Now, people say, well, I never lived there, so how can we repatriate? They use expatriate, because this was our land first before we went there. So we are repatriating. So he has a website called Repatriate to Ghana. R2GH, Repatriate to Ghana, where there are many tiers to help people so that they don't come over here ignorant, thinking that this is just, I'm just moving from Detroit to New York, that they understand all the intricacies of moving internationally and have the help to do that. He is so connected in so many different areas, not only in the governmental levels, but in the educational levels, in the business and economic levels, with one-to-one relationships to help people be able to make that. He was instrumental in the first group. People have been hearing about these groups that have been getting their citizenship. He was instrumental in assisting those to pull that together in the year 2016, was it?
2016, yes.
Yeah, 2016. It's called Repatriate to Ghana. So if you really want to get out of Dodge, you need to go to Repatriate to Ghana to get expertise in knowing how to do that successfully.
I see someone, Kevin Lewis said, I checked the website every day without fail. He said, so that just goes to tell you that you are definitely imparting knowledge and inspiration into many individuals and pointing them in the right direction to have a sustainable lifestyle, in all those different areas that Dr. Kambon wanted in the 8 selves, so that's a blessing. I won't keep
let me mention this as well.
Okay.
Baba Kamal, when he would talk about the Kanban dime, that's dealing with the different selves. He had, basically a way that people can keep track of how many points they get, and that is in terms of what they're doing for Black liberation, you get X amount of points. But when you do things for white world terror domination, that's a deduction away from your points. That we ended up implementing a similar system on a BB Tumi. That's via the app and then also by the website, where anytime you come to the site, you get a certain amount of points. Anytime that you make a purchase, you get a certain amount of points. We have a member of the month marathon where, people are striving to get the highest number of points. Those people who end up being the most Blacknificent member of the month, we're going to honor them at the third Blacknificent Abibi Tumi conference and Abibi Fahundie Festival. That's a Black Power Conference and Black Liberation Festival. So, anybody who isn't on yet, I want you to go ahead and get into the running so that you can be rewarded literally for working towards Black liberation. Anytime people, are like, yeah, I'm about Black liberation and so forth, it's like as soon as they turn on the computer, they turn into coons, buffoons, and Looney Tunes, because you can't get them to do anything Black when they come online. But We're like, no. Even when you come online, you can still be doing things in relation to Black power. So you don't have to be on Master Mark Zuckerberg's plantation. You don't have to be, following this, that, and the third, Elon Musty or whoever you're following. That you can actually have a Black resource online through the app and so forth. So don't be, I'm red, black, and green on the ground. But the second you click the on button for your computer, you turn into, scratching where it don't itch. Coonin, Buffoonin, and Looney Tunes. We don't need that because we have our own space. What's on the screen right now is Repatriate to Ghana. And really, that's a compliment to SankofaJourney.com. My business consultant, that's Nataki, got us started with Repatriate to Ghana because I was already helping people to repatriate. I was helping people to do, all these different things that they needed to be successful when they come to Ghana. And she was like, well, you know what? You need to actually formalize that, make it into a process. I can't say enough about Nataki. She has newbusinesssolutions.com. And with that, if you click on testimonials, we helped the sitting President General of the UNIA. That's Nana Marcus Garvey's provisional government, I should say. And he's the second video down. That's his testimonial. That's the day that we helped him get his citizenship. And think about how monumental that is. That, Nana Marcus Garvey wanted to come to the continent. He wanted to bring people here. People talk about, quote unquote, back to Africa movement. Well, we were able to assist the President General, the 10th successor of the UNIA, to get citizenship here in Ghana. And, really is monumental in terms of our success rate, 100% success rate, going all the way back to 2016 for all the names that we submit for getting citizenship, for all the work that we're doing on the ground, helping people to build houses, helping people to ship their cars, their belongings. We helped a brother get his mother here, who before was suffering from dementia. She's now recovering because she is able to deal with the holistic health and a beautiful environment, fresh air, so forth. So these are the things that we're doing to transform the lives of people. And, I can't say enough about people who are now able to change the life trajectory of their children, of their children's children. A brother of mine, Heru, said the other day that he was in class on economics, and his economics professors, he asked them, oh, what is economics? Some people say, oh, it's money. Oh, it's governmental this. Oh, it's that. It's kind of, it's budget. It's so forth. And the professor simply said, economics is a science of choice. And what we're doing with Repatriate to Ghana is we're giving people different choices than what they would have had otherwise. We're giving their children different choices. We're giving their children's children different choices. Your child doesn't have to be Tamir Rice getting shot down in the street. Your, child doesn't have to be Oscar Grant, getting shot at the subway. There are other things in this world beyond being on the plantation. So the same way that Nana Harriet Tubman had the Underground Railroad, now we got the Undercloud Railroad. We're going to zoom you right on through to the runway, and we're going to help you to be safe, from Donald Trump. We're going to help you be safe from all of these, racist, rabid, crackers and so forth and so on. We're going to help them actually be here and experience a life where, one time I was driving through Hacho and a police car was behind me. I had the lights flashing and it just passed right by me. And I stopped and reflected. I was like, this is the first time that a police car has been behind me and my heart didn't jump. And then I reflected more deeply, like, why is that even normal for that to even be? Why is that even remarkable? I had another time I had my son Kwaku on my lap. We were at a festival at Abri, and he was asleep in my lap. And it just dawned on me that I don't have to worry about him getting shot because he has a toy gun. You see what I'm saying? And I like, even as I'm saying, I can't express to you like how profound of a feeling that is, that your children are safe. Right. That you're not worried about driving out and, you may not come back because put your hands on the steering wheel turned into Philando Castile, you see. So with Repatriate to Ghana, it's not just running away from danger, it's running to safety. And with Repatriate to Ghana, we actually help you to know what you're coming to, the plot of land that you're going to be on. We help. This is going to be the architectural design of your house. This is going to be what you're going to do for a business in terms of business registration. This is the vehicle you're going to drive. And, it takes it away from the fog and the mist that, one day when I'm in my 90s, I'm going to repatriate. When I'm 101, I'm going to repatriate. No. It don't have to be that. You can actually give the best years of your life to building the land of Black people. So a lot of people, they have good hearts. They're like, yeah, I want to build up Africa. I want to build up the land of Black people. Then I asked them, well, if you want to build them, where's your building? Well, it's time to get started. If you can't answer that positively, then you need to go ahead and get started. So that's the work that we're doing here with Repatriate to Ghana.
Mama Mia, let me tell you something right there. He is made for this. He is definitely the son of Dr. Kamau Kambon. I have a question for you guys as I give.
But let me interject this too, as he talked about the traumas that we experience living there, potential traumas. It's also the subtle ones, because our people, you, me, and everybody have been totally, and Baba Kamal talked about this on miseducated, diseducated. So it's subtly where we learn to hate ourselves and pour into a system that will never give us freedom and won't allow us to do the things. I happened to turn on last night to look at what happened in Black Wall Street. They had a little segment on that. This sister was dying and had seen her mother be murdered in that. So again, that's the trauma, but the miseducation that happens there is as traumatic as being shot with a gun. And we know it, but we've never done anything about it. And that's just one, but that's one of the most powerful ones. that we put ourselves and our children through a system that is designed to make them more wealthy, more powerful, more in control, and us to be puppets under them. So Repatriate to Ghana can eliminate all of that. But people have to be real to themselves that this continues to go on. And do we want this to continue for generations to come? You talk about legacy. What will be your legacy for your children?
Whew. And that's it. Legacy is so important. That is so, so true. Thank you for reiterating that, Mama Maria, because people don't understand. I don't think people understand it. I think sometimes it's all about cliches. And y'all definitely have set the standard for what it looks like to, when people say it, you see it all the time. The legacy continues. This is it right here. This is it. This is what they mean when they say the legacy continues. This is what they mean when they say the legacy continues. If you are deciding to try to let somebody's legacy go on that has passed, use this right here. This is the blueprint of what it looks like. I mean, my. Uh,
Can I add one thing to that?
yes, ma'am.
Because I meet people all the time who say, wow, I admire your family so much. You all are so close. You guys are doing businesses together. You support each other's businesses. People are surprised that, I've paid Onipa psychological, the stigma that used to exist with going to therapy doesn't exist anymore. If you are Black living anywhere in this world, you need to talk to someone. To make sure that you are just calibrated well. So I've paid Onipa for therapy. I've paid Repatriate to Ghana for land. I bought Kala's book. I haven't done the fasting yet. I got to do it. I got to stop eating too much. But we support each other. They've paid my company for consulting and advertising and all these. So we all eat Alma's food and buy her Sobolo. Like we literally pull out money and support each other. But when people say, oh, wow, I look at your family, we are not one of those families where you're supposed to just look at us from afar and go, wow, isn't that whatever it is? All of these things are invitations to, join the larger community family. What Mama Maria and Baba Kamal and what Baba Kamal's legacy has done is, the Blacknificent books and Benu family are family. They had the brotherhood gathering and the sister circle, it's family. The number of people, like I said, who called me crying, grown men and women, grown women crying because they lost their father, their Baba, I didn't even, I knew every time I went somewhere, he knew everybody, but I didn't realize how much of an impact he had. This isn't just watch what we're doing. If you're really talking about being woke, if you're really talking about being conscious or whatever word you want to use, some of these words, people are like, I don't use that word. Yeah. You don't have to label it. If you're talking about being about something and doing something, these are all pathways to engage and then connect with other like-minded people who are doing the same thing. So, I just want to make it clear, we definitely live in a world where, because of television and video and media and social media, so many people just voyeuristically look at life. They're just looking at things. And it's so hard. It's so easy to, turn off this podcast and then go about your day and forget about it. But if you're really about that life, as they say, then you should be clicking on these websites and saying, this is what I'm going to do to change the trajectory of my life. This is what I'm going to do to connect with like-minded people. This is what I'm going to do to make sure that even if I don't have a family like this, I can create it through either copying this model or connecting with like-minded people. They didn't mention that there are couples that had gone on the Sankofa Journey who are now married and have children. There are couples. There's a sister. We just had a meeting the other day who she came on the Sankofa Journey. She's part of a very close private group on a BB2Me. She met her husband through a BB2Me, or her husband was part of a BB2Me and Repatriate to Ghana, and they're now engaged. Like,
Wow.
this is literally how you build Black wealth, Black excellence, Black resources, Black families.
Wow, Blacknificent, Black power, all that stuff. And like you said, if you're going to be woke and conscious, this is it right here. We're giving you resources. I will make sure that I put the links when we post the YouTube on Facebook so that you can go back and click on them. Let's apply this knowledge. Okay, let's not just look. There's a question there that was put up. It says, I have a question. Do you help a Nigerian living in Ghana to get citizenship?
We actually can assist with citizenship, but it can't be on the route that we actually pioneered in 2016. So what happened back in 2016, let me even go back further than that. We had Founders Day in 2015, that's September 21st. And we have this idea of, why do we have to wait for the next September 21st, that's Nana Kwame Nkrumah's birthday, before we can come together and discuss our issues and solutions and so forth. And I said, well, we don't have to wait. I'm a professor at the University of Ghana, Institute of African Studies, so we can hold monthly meetings through my office. And that's what we did. So every month we held those meetings. And then in the April meeting, the executive secretary to the president at that time, who is once again the president of Ghana, he's been reelected, the executive secretary, that was Honorable Nikwesi Kwate, he came to the meeting, and what he was told is, you know what, as diasporans, we contribute a lot to Ghana, but we don't have very much to show for it. Imagine I build $1 million factory, but then they say, oh, your visa ran out, sorry, you got to go. Yeah, this is now my factory. That people aren't going to be willing to do certain things because they don't really have very firm roots. Well, he took that message back to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the president of Ghana, and the very last act he did, he ended up being voted out of office. But the last act that he did, December 28th of 2016, he said, I'm not giving you anything. I'm restoring your birthright. And that's how we obtained our citizenship. And it started out of my little teeny tiny office in African studies. Now you hear that Burkina Faso is also interested in citizenship, for diasporans. You find that Benin, we have a talk coming up on Sunday about Benin citizenship. We have Sierra Leone. Everybody is looking at Ghana and the model that we started really through Repatriate to Ghana, another elder, Dr. Hamed Maulana, who was one of the pioneers who was right along with us at that time. So we've assisted those from the diaspora. And this is coming to answer your question. So we had a sister from the Congo. Now she is married to a brother out of Jamaica who was, raised in Canada. I call it Ku Klux Klanada. And she also wanted to get her Ghanaian citizenship because it was going to happen on her birthday. But what they told her was that this is specifically for those whose ancestors were kidnapped and enslaved. So you can't get it through this particular route where it's naturalization by presidential mandate. However, there are routes for someone who's a Nigerian or a Congolese or whatever to come to Ghana and get citizenship. It's just a different route. But as far as citizenship goes, we definitely assist those. I mentioned the President General. I see Kwajo Date is online. We helped him get his citizenship. I helped my sister Nataki get her citizenship. My mother, just so many that we've helped to get their citizenship. And when you go to the testimonials page on Repatriate to Ghana, a good 50% of those testimonials are, those who are saying Repatriate to Ghana is the best agency in the world because they helped me to get my citizenship. So anyone who is a diaspora and the descendant of someone whose ancestors were enslaved by these, whether it's the brutish, whether it is the stench, they call them the French, I call them the stench, whether it's the vermins, they call them the Germans, whatever it is, you can come back home and you can get your citizenship through Repatriate to Ghana, the programs that we offer.
Wow. So I wanted to put it out there in case anyone else had a question. If anybody else has a question that they want to ask, I think I saw one more about dual citizenship. Do you all help with dual citizenship?
Exactly.
And anybody else who has, give me 1 second. Anybody else, if you have a question, please put it in the comment while they're asking. Take advantage of this opportunity to get the information while it's here for you. Okay, I'm sorry. So do you help with dual citizenship?
Absolutely. So with Ghana, because Ghana recognizes dual citizenship, that means that when you get citizenship of Ghana, You don't have to get rid of any other citizenship that you have, otherwise. There are some countries that do it like that. I know I had a student who was half Ghanaian, half Dutch, and she said, "Oh, if I get Ghanaian citizenship, I have to give up my citizenship in the Netherlands or wherever it was." That because Ghana recognizes dual citizenship. If you can get multiple citizenships. So we actually have an initiative with Honorable Ambassador Chihombore Kwao, who recently spoke on Abibi Tumi about Burkina Faso citizenship. We want to collaborate with her to help others who already have Ghanaian citizenship to also get their citizenship in Burkina Faso, because we're not into these neo-colonial cages, so-called borders of, oh, I'm stuck in, there's a proverb that says a cow grazes where it is tied. We have to ask ourselves, are we cows, or can we move beyond these little teeny tiny, ridiculous, non-existent imaginary borders that some, cave beasts decide that we're supposed to stay in? We don't have to do that. So what we're dealing with is a consortium of those like Repatriate to Ghana who are assisting with citizenship throughout the entire continent. And, this isn't a rivalry. Oh, no, you should only get it in Ghana. No, we're not dealing with that. We want you to come and build the land of Black people. A lot of people are in the United States, and whether voluntarily or involuntarily, they're building the land of our enemies, right? But just like, we saw in, the 9/11 with the crashing of the towers, whether it's an inside job or an outside job, if you are all up under, Master whoever, when it hits the fan, then guess what? Everybody's going down. So we don't want you to be all up under, Master whoever when Candyland gets burnt down. We want you to come here and build the land of Black people, because that's what we need to be doing anyway. Whether it's Nana Marcus Garvey, whether it's Nana Omoale, Malcolm X, all of them said that no Black man is going to be respected anywhere in the world until this land, which should properly be called the land of Black people, is a world power. So that's what we're working on, and we're doing it one family at a time. We have just this week, we have 5 clients who just signed up for Repatriate to Ghana. I had one sister who's like, I'm in Washington State. I'm 35 minutes from the Ku Klux Klan at the border. Hey, if I got to get out of here quick, I'm going to get out of here and I can book a flight to Ghana from there. So, again, it's not just about running away from Donald Trump. It's about actually running to safety. And that's one thing that we assist you with Repatriate to Ghana. And in doing so, we're continuing the legacy of Nana Abibi Fahondie, Nana Kamau Kambon. He himself repatriated. And, a lot of our luminaries were not able to do so. Nana Marcus Garvey himself was not able to set foot on this soil. But,
Wow.
We shouldn't say, oh, he wasn't able to do it, so I should stay right where I am in, the United Snake for a Murderer. It's not always about doing exactly what they did. Sometimes it's about following the trajectory that they pointed us towards. And all of them were very clear that this is where we need to build up. And that's exactly what we're helping others to do.
Yes, thank you for making that point. So here's what I want to do, because I want to kind of bring it on in. We got about 12 minutes left to close it on out. I want to ask each one of you this one question too before we close it out. And I want to thank everybody who came through here. I want to thank the family for allowing me once again to be a vessel to even do this, to provide this information. So powerful. I knew it was going to be powerful, but you just exceeded my expectation with this right here. And so I want to say we have a lot of information, people. If you came in late, please go back, do the replay. It's going to be out there for you. Share it with those that you know need this information. Share it with those that you know new to Kambon family here in the area. New York, we know you're in here. Brooklyn, we know you're here from everywhere. So please share it. I want to ask you all, what is the one piece of advice that Dr. Kambon gave each of you that ignites you daily with your endeavors? And I want to address that to each one of you. And again, keeping in mind that we got about 11 minutes before I can close this out. And then we just want to say again that we are just truly blessed by this. And we thank you. We thank you. I can't wait to come there in December. But I'm going to start with the daughter-in-law, then go to Nataki. And then I'm going to let you decide, Mama, whether you want to go and let your son close it, or if you want to do it the other way. I'm gonna follow you on that. But I'll start with you, baby girl.
Okay. I would say that his message of getting all the cells together is one that always stays with me. Meaning that You have your health that you have to get together. You have your economic work to do. You have your repatriation work to do. And you have all these aspects of yourself. And that work is a daily work. It's a daily work for me, for our family. And it's something that keeps me it reminds me of it keeps me grounded and reminded of what we need to do, and it also keeps me thinking of Baba Kamal and his legacy. So I challenge everyone out there, along with myself, to work on getting your multiple selves together, and that's mentally, spiritually, physically. Get yourself together. If you are watching this and you are feeling the call to return home to the land of Black people, if you're feeling the life and legacy of Baba Kamal, get his book, read what he was talking about, connect with us, and start getting your multiple selves together too.
Okay. I guess
Lataki, we'll let you go.
um you said one, I'm always I'm always thinking of two. But one thing that occurs to me, I had a conversation with Ayanna Gregory, Dick Gregory's daughter, and I followed some things recently that Bernice King, Dr. Martin Luther King's daughter, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, um, posted something, and just looking at Malcolm X's daughter and Obimfo. My brother just got an award that was handed to him by Samia Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah's daughter. And what occurs to me is, those women exist in powerful ways in their own right, but it's only because they had strong, loving, family-oriented Black men who, love their wives in their lives. And, um, that's not something he said to me, but it's something that I'm very cognizant of. Again, just the power of strong Black men who recognize the importance of having a strong Black woman, not behind them, but beside them. And who also are perfectly fine to have the woman take the lead sometimes and they take the lead sometimes. It's not the way Europeans always articulate it with the man in front and the woman behind them. But something that my father left with me isn't so much, like the deeply impactful thing, taking care of the health, getting sleep.
Yes.
But the thing that resonates with me most is how much he loved his family. And I ended up downloading, I think it was like 75 voicemails that he left me. And one of them he left, I guess something happened and I was upset or whatever. And he called and I didn't call him back. And he left me a voicemail and he was like, yeah, I know it's been kind of rough. But I want you to know that your mother and I have your back 1,000%. And just stay the course and everything's going to be okay. And those, knowing that those weren't just like fleeting words, like knowing that you have people in your life who will do anything for you when you're in the right is just incredible. And I think what people should take away is, whether you've had a father, like Kala said, I didn't have a father like that, but I'm able to give that to my children. I think using it as a model is important. So I'll leave it there. So for the sake of time.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we got about 6 minutes and counting. I will pass the mic to either one of you because I'll see who wants to close it out for us.
I'm going to let Benfo close it off, so I'm going to go now. I thought about being the elder to close it, but he's his father's spirit, so I
Yes.
want him to close it. But so what I want to say is one of the things that he would say is you're not going to be able to save everyone, but you need to surround yourself and build an ideological family that can support you and that can support your mission on this earth. And so, and I say this when I work with people as well. You may not have had everything in your life you needed coming up to feel secure, but now you're in charge. You're in charge, and it's up to you to fill in the gaps, to build forward, to move forward, to understand who you are and whose you are. And I am so grateful that Kamau Kambon chose me to walk this journey of life with, to build with these children, to instill in our children in the community and our brothers and sisters the understanding that there is a solution to the greatest problem on planet Earth, and that involves you too. So I thank you, Sister Crystal, for this evening, allowing my family to be a part of sharing stories and love that have been passed down to us and still remains with us as we continue the work that Baba Kamau, Rashidi Kamban, and I shared together. Madasi, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I love you.
Thank you.
And I will pass the mic to you to leave us with the answer in the spirit of the late Dr. Kamau Kambon, before I close us out.
Well, Baba Kamal, Nana Abibi Fahodie, he would always mention a movie called Burn, also known as Kaimada. And, in the movie, one of the black people who's fighting for liberation gets captured, and they're, interrogating him, and they're saying, what does Jose Dolores say? What does he say? Tell us, what does he say? And he says, Jose Dolores says that it's better to know where you're going and not know how to get there than to know how to get someplace and not know where you're going.
Mm.
And with that, Baba Kamal would be the main message that he always wanted to get across is solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Solve the problem. Everything else that people are dealing with, people, are, getting sidetracked with diversions. And he would give an analogy of a train, right? Some people get off at this part of the train and it's, the health, right? Or some people get off, it's the psychology. Baba Kamal would always say all of those different things are important because in the Kanban dam, you have your psychological self, as we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
You have your education self. You have your cultural historical self. You have your economic self. You have your, I mentioned health self. You have your spiritual self. You have your political self. You have your social self. I'm actually looking around the room because my bookcases are set up along the categories of the Kanban dam. But, you'll have somebody who gets off on the psychological self. They get to that stop and say, oh, I'm done. And Baba Kamal is just sitting there reading his copy of Duke Parents. And then somebody will move forward and then they'll get to the cultural historical. Oh, I know all about my culture. I know all about my history. They'll get off there. And Baba Kamal just sits there on the train reading his copy of Duke Parents. Somehow get to economics. Oh, I know everything about economics now. If we only get the economics together, everything is cool. And Baba Kamal just sits there reading his copy of Duke Parents. This is in the Blackest book for those who are wondering. Somebody gets to education. Oh, if only we can get education together, then we'll get it done. Health. Somebody says, oh, I understand spirituality. If only we can get the spirituality, then everything is cool. Or political. If only we can vote right or get our political control, sovereignty, blah blah blah. And somebody else is like, oh, if only we can deal socially and get together in unity and so. But Baba Kamal is staying on the train through all of those stops because he knows that the destination is Black liberation, and Black liberation is defined as solving the number one problem on the planet Earth. So Baba Kamal pointed us in that direction. And everything that we do, if you see us helping people repatriate, it's because all of that is in the direction of solving the problem. If you see us bringing people here on the Sankofa Journey, it's because all of those things, he would say that, you can't defeat a system with a program. And he defined the system as all the different parts work together. So when you see the Kambons who are doing business consulting, who are doing catering, who are, helping people repatriate, who are helping people in all, psychologically, all areas, because we are developing a system, and the system is designed to destroy the system that is destroying Black people, and not just that, but to solve the problem of those who put that system in the place in the very first place. So that's what it's all about, and that's what we're doing, is bringing all the different parts of the system together through our BB Tumi, through Repatriate to Ghana, through new business solutions, through Slow Down and Fast, through Enquadria, that's the catering, through Onipa Psychological Consulting, that this is all of us. Sometimes you'll see so many of our, luminaries in the community, you'll see them give a speech, but then you'll wonder, well, where's that person's wife? Or you'll see somebody, who's on the conscious lecture circuit, like, where are their children? So forth. With the Kambon family, this is one thing that I'm not always cognizant of because it's just normal to me, but you can actually see us, and Baba Kamal would always say it's important to see a person in context, right? And that's what you see with the Kambon family. You see all of us in context. It's not that, I'm out here giving a speech one day, but then the next day I'm off, chasing some, ladies on the street or whatever. That, what it's really about is all of these different parts coming together. And when you support the Kambon family, you're supporting Black liberation. And, as Nana Mawia Kambon said, that you definitely play a role in that fight for Black liberation. So yeah, that's what I'll leave it on, is solve the problem, solve the problem, solve the problem.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I want to put that comment up before I make my closing remarks. Someone asked, how else can I book for consultation because the website is not accepting their bank card? I think that may be addressed to you, Nataki, possibly.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions related to business stuff, I can give you a phone number that you can text. Again, that is 301. It's a different number. You can use the 301-244-9072. I'll put it in the chat. So if you have any questions related to transactions, I can help with that. We listed so many websites. I'm not sure which one. But there are people from all over the world using them, and different countries have different standards. So I can help with that. So yes.
Well, thank you so much.
And Crystal, before you close out,
I want email address just in case. Well, I'll put the email in the chat too. So if anybody has any,
if you want to give it, go ahead and give it. That's fine.
It'll be harder to spell, so it's okay. I'll put it in the chat so anybody seeing the live stream can just go to the chat and click it.
Okay.
Yes, or they can message me directly. I'm Best Vegan Chef or Nataki on a BB Tumi on the BB Tumi platform.
Yes, ma'am. Mama, you have
yes, Crystal, before you close, we are very grateful for the love that you shared, Baba Kamal, for all those years, and that you would want to continue to spread that love by having us on this platform that is yours. So thank you so much. And in thanking you, I thank the countless incredible members of the community that have been here or tried to be here for us during this very difficult time. But we will win because we already have. We just need everybody to understand.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It is my honor. It is my privilege. I am a hope catalyst. As many people know, my mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. My tagline, I always say, keep hope alive. I'm always telling people, that I want them to recycle their hope. And you guys have recycled my hope today by allowing me to do this with you today. So thank you so much. I will be in touch. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Storytime during this Black History Month. I hope that you have been blessed by meeting this family. If you have met them for the first time, that is living out Marcus Garvey's vision. If you are someone who knows them, then you already know. But please come back again. This is Story Time. I want to thank the family. I want to thank the students that have come that were under Dr. Kamau Kambon at St. Augustine's University. I want to thank the community. I want to thank our followers. Please be sure to like, share, and comment. I'm going to say that again. It's free. Please be sure to like, share, and comment. And come back again. And if you have a story, we would love to share it, okay? Thank you again. Our regular scheduled program is normally 8 p.m., but because they have a 5-hour difference, I think it is now probably almost 9, 10 o'clock where they are. So we did this early. So share this and leave a comment if this blessed you. Don't forget to go to their websites. We are going to give you plenty of websites. Don't forget to visit those websites and apply the knowledge. The good book says our people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. We have given you a lot of information today. So I pray that you use it. I will close this out by letting you hear one more time what it means to have a legacy, because they've shown you. I'll let you hear it, and we'll close out with the intro. God bless you. I thank my production team for all the hard work, and I thank everybody once again. Thank you for watching Storytime. God bless. I'll turn it over now to the announcements, and we'll close out. Have an amazing day.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.